Hello everyone, it's me, Hydro King, and today we're going to be doing part 3 of What If's Penelope joined the Cooper Gang. Now in this part, we're about to wrap up the quote-unquote series with this part. Now, as y'all may know, that Sly 3 was made to be sort of the ending, but since Sansar took it up, we have one more part to go. And we're going to figure out how Penelope would change in this timeline. How will things play out? What would happen? Well, you're about to find out.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, like in the third game, we start off on the island, specifically Dr. M's island. And here is where Sly and Bentley are interacting with each other through the intercoms. And of course, Bentley mentions that he's got his team ready. And so, we're introduced to, I guess, new voices. Particularly one that's not like the rest. Of course, even though they're in silhouette, you can recognize their voices, such as Murray, Penelope, Dimitri, Panda King, and this other character. Don't worry, I'll get to him later. So, as Sly is traversing throughout the island, getting help from the new members of the Sly Cooper gang, he of course overhears Dr. M spilling out the password to get into the vault. Of course, Sly Cooper enters the password, tries to get into the vault, but Dr. M shuts him down. And of course, we get the usual interaction. Cooper? Why, you must be Sly Cooper, the new keeper of the cane. Oh, I have been waiting for this. Listen, Dr. M, what you're doing, it's over. And this is my vault. I will not let you steal the family name. No, my boy, you're trespassing. You see, I have the deed to this island. This vault belongs to me. Everything here is mine, which now includes the cane. Hand it over. Sorry, pal. Family heirloom. You can buy a knockoff at the gift shop. Bentley shoots at Dr. M. And of course, a chase ensues. And Bentley and Sly are managing to escape. Of course, like in canon, Dr. M gets one of his abominations out. And it grabs Bentley. There is no escape for you, Koopa. Of course, Sly tries to fight it, but he's overpowered by the beast. Bentley tells him to run, but Sly Cooper throws his cane at the giant monster, letting Bentley go. And of course, he gets grabbed by the beast, and he's barely holding on. And of course, we get the scene where Sly Cooper is talking, having his life flash before his eyes, and explaining a lot of the things that's been going up until this point. And of course, we get the title card, Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves. And of course, after this, you're taken into a tutorial section. And here is where the players can refresh on all of Sly's moves and Bentley's moves. Of course, you complete the missions, you'll find out that he's got a few new moves, specifically the triangle button, and that he can do even more powerful attacks by pressing the triangle button and the square button. So once you're done with all that, we head over to the next section, where
you basically have Sly, Bentley, and Penelope. Of course, I should say this now before I forget. She also has her own tutorial sections at the beginning of the game. Anyways, Sly basically tells what's been happening with the Cooper gang. And essentially, it goes sort of like in canon. But of course, Penelope's there. Now, here's where it gets real interesting. So during the second game, after the second game and before the third game, Penelope, she has been training a lot, specifically her physical body, as she feels like she didn't do a good enough job of protecting Bentley, saving him in time. Sort of like Murray, but she doesn't leave the game. So she starts taking up boxing. And of course, if you're aware of these moments in Sly 3, when she was the Black Baron, in the original story, she was a pro boxer. Now, of course, you may argue that this is only when she's in costume, but keep in mind, this is still her. So, a lot of the feats that we see from the original Black Baron could be applied to her, since she's capable of doing these things. Though, of course, I'm gonna make a compromise here. She does get stronger physically, yes, but the reason why she's able to do all this is with her gauntlets and her boots. So with these inventions, she's able to punch harder, jump higher, and of course perform her own sneak attack move, which is the powerful rapid stomping move that the Black Baron used. So yeah, she's getting a lot stronger in this timeline. So there's that. Of course, Murray leaving the Cooper gang because he felt guilty of not protecting Bentley. And he decides to go to Australia to train with the Guru. And Sly and Bentley don't know much about the Guru, so all they know is that Murray was sent on a mission from the Guru to travel across the world in search of peace. And of course, he ends up in Italy, where he's faced with the Don. And of course, we get the backstory for the Don, and how he used to be an opera singer, but of course, since the taste in music have changed into rock music, he became unpopular. But of course, some of his fans became members of a gang. And of course, they invited him to be the Don, the leader of this gang. Of course, get a title card, A Fear in Opera. So, to quickly go over this first level, like the usual beats, Sly goes into the secret Interpol headquarters, and of course, he stumbles across a jail cell. He's like,
Murray, is that you?
Maddie. That name's a stain on my pants, bro. What?
and of course, we get the reveal of Dimitri. He then replies,
Cooper, you got some fuzzy dice to come around here.
Dimitri, long time no punch. Say, you wouldn't happen to know where Murray is?
I may or may not know. But why should I help someone like you?
Well, because you're still a two-time low-life thief who just counterfeits money.
And you're still a crackerbox.
Look, do you have the location of him or not?
Looking for main man Murdy, eh? Saddy, but I'd rather see you get busted big time. Gods! Polizia!
Wait!
And of course, we get this gameplay where it's like a sort of BioWare game. Yeah, you have to choose the right option in order to progress the story. Of course, nothing happens if you choose the wrong options, just more dialogue. But of course, eventually Sly comes up with a plan to essentially free Dimitri by distracting the guards. Of course, Dimitri agrees with this, and Sly says, "Alright, I just need to get the key to open this lock."
You get me out of here, and I'll find Murray. No sweat.
So that happens. And of course, this leads into the interaction between Carmelita and Sly. And of course, there's the drama of Carmelita not trusting Sly or not liking him all that much due to what happened, and saying that she grew up, I guess. But Sly knows that they're still in love with each other, let's be honest. So Carmelita gives chase to Sly. Sly is able to get to Murray. And Murray's like,
Greetings, old Inspector Fox! Man, you're at it again!
and of course, they get to somewhere safe. And Sly's like, "Whoa, what happened to you, man?"
You see, Sly, I am a changed person. And I need to fulfill my quest.
And of course, Sly's like, "Well, listen, Murray, Bentley's not mad at you. In fact, he misses you. Why can't you just come back?" And Murray replies,
Sorry, Sly, I'm on a different path. My guru is wise, and he told me that I cannot leave until the black water ran pure.
and of course, Sly has to snort, make a joke. Does this also come in the form of a haiku?
Come on, I'm in a spirit quest here.
Sorry. Tell me everything. I missed you, pal.
It's a long and awesome story. You got any gum?
So that happens. And of course, throughout these missions, we're aware that the Don, Octavius, oh yeah, that's his name, by the way. His name is Don Octavius. Anyway, throughout the missions, we find out that Don Octavius has been polluting the waters of Venice, Italy. And that he's doing this so that he's able to put on this big performance, this big opera performance, so that he can get back into the spotlight again. Of course, your missions are to dismantle Don Octavius' plans. So, that happens. Of course, Penelope gets involved. This goes quicker. But interestingly enough, the important moment I want to touch upon is Murray's moments in the story. So, not only does Murray meet up with Bentley, he also meets up with Penelope. So, Penelope and Bentley are both there. And, of course, Bentley and Penelope are worried about him. They're like, "Why didn't you come back? I just don't understand why you would do this." This is Bentley talking. And Murray's like,
Sorry, Bentley, I couldn't save you. Look, the way I see it is like you're like my second best friend. And I feel bad. I wasn't strong enough.
Get over it, Murray. I'm not mad at you. I never have. The only thing I worry about is losing my pal.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I can't not break the promise to the guru. I can never hurt someone else. I'm a pacifist. I don't know if I can help you.
Of course, Penelope starts coming up with the idea, having the same thoughts as Bentley.
You know, there's a way you could still help us. Why don't you destroy the oil barrels all over Venice? And that way you can complete your mission and never have to hurt anyone.
And of course, Murray agrees with this, being excited at this idea. Of course, Bentley then begins to explain that Murray has a new move. It's called the ball form that he learned from the guru. And so, Murray's able to take out the oil drums and complete the mission. And another moment I should touch upon a bit more is Murray and Penelope. And that Penelope doesn't get mad or shout at him. She just hugs him. And Murray's confused, but he decides to hug back. And they start talking to each other.
Listen, Murray. I get it. I get why you did the things you did. To be honest, I still can't forgive myself, either. Felt like I could have done more if I wasn't weak.
Murray's like, "What? You're not weak, Penelope. In fact, when you hugged me, I noticed you were a little stronger."
Yeah, I've been going through some stuff. Anyway, I just want to let you know I'm not mad at you either. In fact, I want to help you. And that to tell you there's always a place for you in the Cooper gang.
Of course, Murray replies,
"Thanks, Penelope. It really means a lot. I just don't want to screw up again."
Penelope places a hand on Murray's shoulder.
You won't. Because we're going to do this thing together.
And of course, they both fist bump each other and hug one last time before heading their separate ways. Another mission I would like to touch upon is when Bentley, Penelope, and Sly were setting up these bombs to detonate Don Octavio's balloon and his weird billboard thing. So, Sly blows it up, and of course, over the intercoms, he noticed that there was some trouble, with Penelope and Bentley screaming, as they found out that Don Octavio has broken into the secret hideout, and has gotten Bentley. And of course, Don Octavio's like,
"Haha, I have your little turtle friend. Now what are you gonna do, pipsqueaks?"
of course, Penelope's like,
Let him go, you big boy!
and of course, Sly also makes a threat.
"Well, you better let him down before I knock out all your teeth and make you eat them." "Oh, such tough words from little tiny pipsqueaks. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn this turtle into tomato fertilizer. I'm allergic to tomatoes."
And so both you Sly and Penelope are chasing Don Octavio. Of course, you catch up, and Don Octavio throws Bentley at Sly. But Penelope manages to catch him and placing him down gently.
This won't be the last time you see of me. Just wait until the big opera concert of the century.
And so, this happens. Of course, all the other missions go like in canon. And of course, there's the important one, the last mission. And of course, this is a wild ride, as a final mission in a Sly Cooper game should be. So, Sly breaks in to Octavio's hideout, destroys the oil pumps along with Bentley. Bentley challenges Don Octavio to a an opera battle, if you want to call it that. Of course, Sly tries to knock out Don Octavio, but it's interrupted by Carmelita. And of course, Don Octavio gets on a boat, and so do Bentley, Penelope, and Sly get on the boat as well. Of course, this is another moment where you can have this be a one-player mission or a two-player mission. So that begins to happen. And I'm going to say this now. For anyone wondering, I'm not going to bring up the whole 3D glasses thing that Sly Cooper tried to introduce into this game. It was just weird and out of place. Yeah, I don't care about it. Anyway. So, whether it's one player or two player, both you, Bentley, and Penelope are trying to shoot down Don Octavio. Of course that happens. And then all the gang has arrived, and so has Don Octavio. And of course, Don Octavio's like, "Don't take a step closer. I have a detonator bomb. And I'll use it to blow up this building here." And of course, Murray shows up. He's like, "Did you guys see that thing? There was a bunch of boats, and they all came crashing in and exploding. So cool! You think that was a cool punk?" And so, Don Octavio begins to laugh as he pushes the button and detonates the building. And of course, the thing that pushes over not just Murray, but Penelope to the edge of anger is when Don Octavio kicked Bentley off his wheelchair. And of course, Don Octavio's like, "Haha, what are you gonna do now, hippo?" Bentley then replies, "Murray, help!" And of course, Penelope and Murray are both angry. Murray rips up his necklace. "That does it! I'll floss my teeth with your spine!" He sucker punches Don Octavio as he comes crashing down. "The Murray returns!" And of course, Penelope also gets in a sucker punch. "Yeah, no one messes with us!" And so, you can probably guess what I'm about to say here. You can have this be a one-player option or a two-player option, where both of you are literally beating the crap out of Don Octavio. And so, the battle ensues. Just like in canon, use the tar pits to slow down Don Octavio and lay the smackdown on him. Of course, Don Octavio is going to pull some dirty tricks, such as lobbing globs of tar at you, or jumping up in the air and doing a body slam, creating a tar tornado thing. Of course, you beat him and you run over to the next section where there's more tar. Of course, Don Octavio then says, "You may have more tar, but I will hold back no longer. I will sing the song of your death."
The only song that the Murray will hear will be the triumphant section of his own triumph.
And Don Octavio said,
"Quit talking, a stupid kid, and die."
and so Don Octavio then begins to sing, which comes out as red rings, and if it hits you, it damages you, obviously. Of course, Murray and Penelope are able to defeat Don Octavio and knock him out. Of course, they get Bentley and they exit out of Venice, Italy. And so, that wraps up the first level. We then head into the second level. Of course, we get a scene of Sly, Bentley, Murray, and Penelope playing video games. And of course, Sly begins to say that everything was fine up until this moment, but he noticed that Murray was still unsatisfied. Even with when he joined up back with the Cooper gang and he regained his identity, the Murray, when he put on the red gloves and red mask again. He says that even though Murray has completed his quote-unquote mission, Murray still felt like he abandoned his master, that he tossed away all the teachings that he had learned up until this point. And so, Sly began to think that they should probably visit this guru guy, see what he's all about. And who knows, with the guru's skills of blending in with the environment, as long as taking over the minds of his enemies, could be useful in breaking into the Cooper vault. And so, they came up with a plan. The old Sly Cooper gang are looking for new members to join them into opening up the Sly Cooper vault. Something that was from Sly Cooper's past, specifically his family's past. And that by opening this vault and figuring out all the treasures that were in there, he could finally put to rest the family Cooper legacy. And oh yeah, for those of you who have never played the games, you might be wondering, how would Sly, Bentley, and Penelope learn of all this information? Well, it's from a character named McSweeney. And McSweeney is a character that used to be part of Sly Cooper's dad's gang. I guess you could say the original Sly, Bentley, and Murray, if you will. With Sly's father being the thief, McSweeney being the muscle, and Dr. M being the brains. And of course, through all this exposition, from Sly interacting with McSweeney, this is how Sly, Bentley, and Penelope were able to learn of this information. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the second level. A Rumble Down Under. So,
as the Cooper gang head over to Australia to meet up with the Guru, they notice that a lot of things have changed and that there's a lot more machinery and industrialization in the rural part of Australia. And they quickly found out that the Guru has been captured. Even though he was a guardian, protector of this land, he was still overwhelmed by the miners that were working here. So, the Sly Cooper gang are going to help. Of course, as we get into the hideout, you get a little prompt saying, would you like a tutorial on Murray? Figure out his moves or not. Of course, if you pick yes, you can complete all of his tutorial missions, or don't. You feel comfortable with the character to use them again. So, like in canon, they're able to find the location of the Guru and get his stuff back with his walking staff and the Moonstone that allow him to harness his Dreamtime powers. So, because Penelope is here, everything goes by really quick. And, of course, we get the reveal as we go on through the missions, through Murray's point of view, the Mask of Dark Earth, and has attached himself to a kangaroo worker, possessing him. Of course, Murray beats the empowered minion, and the Mask of Dark Earth escaped. Now, of course, we get some exposition on what the Mask of Dark Earth is, and what's been going on. As the Guru, he was a guardian of this place, and that he was in charge of keeping the Mask of Dark Earth sealed, but because of the miners, it has become unsealed. So, yeah, there's that. So, as you play through the missions like in canon, the most fun and interesting one comes up. It's the bar fight mission, where not only Sly, Bentley, and Murray go in, but Penelope as well. And of course, they try to act all angry and tough. And of course, Penelope is just wondering, are you sure these guys are tough? I don't think they are. But of course, that doesn't stop the boys from doing their thing. As Sly tries to act all intimidating, doesn't really work. And the miners are like, that's not how we do things around here. We don't fist fight. The way we settle things around here are a lemonade bar. A lemonade drinking contest. And of course, they agree to this. And we get to see all the characters essentially drink a lot of lemonade really quick before the miners beat them. And of course, it looks hilarious. Sly drinking really fast, Murray drinking really fast, and Penelope just chugging down lemonade. It's just hilarious to me. And of course, Bentley spilling a lot of his drink, but still saying, "We won." Of course, the miners are not happy with this, saying that's cheating, and that a fight happens anyway. So, in this mission, you get to play as all 4 members of the Cooper gang. And of course, you get to try out their moves, and everyone's going ham. Bentley with his wheelchair attack, Murray with his fist, Penelope also with her fist, and her wrench, I guess you could say. Everything's going crazy. But of course, the Mask of Dark Earth has possessed another mine worker, this time a wolf. And it is crazy. And also, I should mention, this is the mission where you're required to have one of the triangle button moves. The heavy strike, or whatever it's called. Just for this mission. And yeah, no wonder, because you would need to beat this guy a lot, as Sly. Of course, the rest of the Cooper gang help you out, but still. It's a pretty tough and kind of scary fight the first time playing through. Of course, the Mask of Dark Earth gets away again. But like in canon, it manages to attach to Carmelita. And well, Sly, Cooper, and the gang, along with the Guru, escape. And here in this mission, you're driving around this big truck, trying to escape from Mask of Dark Earth Carmelita. That's what I like to call her. And make sure she doesn't blow up the truck, so you throw explosives back at her. And of course, she keeps getting bigger and bigger as Sly Cooper and the gang trying to put her down. Or at least try to take the mask off. Of course, Sly Cooper climbs up Carmelita and is able to get rid of the Mask of Dark Earth. Of course, Carmelita's squad begins shooting at the Mask of Dark Earth, and it is destroyed. Of course, her squad gets blown up too, but well. So the mission's complete, and of course, Sly Cooper and the gang take care of Carmelita. And of course, this wouldn't be a Sly Cooper game without shenanigans, as Sly sees a camera and he smirks to us, the audience, and they start messing around. Even Penelope starts messing around a bit, acting all goofy along with them. So, this would pretty much wrap up this mission, and of course the Guru joins up with the Sly Cooper gang. Now we head over to the third level. And here we get some interesting information. Where it's discovered that there's a new air pilot. That there's a air pilot competition, and it's being run by someone named the Black Baron. But of course, I should mention Penelope, because, like in the original timeline, this is where Penelope joins up with the Sly Cooper gang. But here's the difference. She had always been with them. So, let's talk more in depth about Penelope. So, in the third game, her development is that she's grown a lot tougher, more confident as a person, and of course a bit more reckless, as she's been hanging out with the Sly Cooper gang. Although it should be noted that the Sly Cooper gang has gone through some stuff, and that they're a bit more confident in planning, and that even if plans don't go their way, they still have backup plans. And they're able to complete missions a lot faster than usual. Of course, I bring up the Black Baron, and some of you might be thinking, wait, didn't you say that the Black Baron was just a costume of Penelope? Yes. But here's the interesting part of this what if. I'm making him a full-blown character. His own character. Like how he's portrayed in the original game. So, we have him as an actual villain. Now, In this level, we find out that Penelope is a really good pilot. Like, she's really, really good. Not just an RC specialist, as it's without a doubt what they need in order to get to the Cooper Vault. But, again, just like in the original game, there is history with Penelope and the Black Baron. Of course, in the original timeline, it was just a cover-up. But here, because the Black Baron is a full-blown character, there's some actual history and personal drama in this. As Penelope, the reason why she became a good pilot is because she learned from the best, the Black Baron. And the Black Baron is wondering where Penelope's been. Why hasn't she shown up back at the pilot games? In the dogfights? But of course, Penelope wants to solve this personal issue and just get it done and over with. Of course, the Sly Cooper gang back her up, and Sly begin taking pilot lessons. And this is going to be easy because, well, they already have a pilot, so Sly Cooper is going to be a really good pilot as well, because he has training from Penelope. Of course, Sly Cooper steals a pilot's outfit and a license so that he's able to get into the dogfights. Like the original timeline, Sly Cooper infiltrates the Black Baron's hideout and bar. And of course, he meets up back with Dimitri. And of course, Sly Cooper is wondering, Dimitri, how did you get here?
I am a man of many lights, but also many talents. I can get into a lot of places.
So, Sly Cooper gets some information out of him. And of course, Dimitri isn't going to give the information up for free, as he orders in a favor. And of course, it goes like in canon.
I need the favor.
A favor? There's no small time favor, bro.
Would you feed my plant or water my fish? No way, bro. This old school blood oath. Deep.
And of course, no other choice, Sly Cooper says, alright, if you can get me the information I need, I'll let you join the Sly Cooper gang. And of course, Dimitri agrees, but of course, he gets upset because if the Black Baron finds out of his betrayal, well, he's out of the job in his life. If things go awry. But of course, Sly Cooper uses his wits to come up with a fake compliment saying, "Ah, come on, Dimitri. You said that you were a man of many lights and many talents. And you got a killer fashion sense. With a certain kinetic aesthetic style."
The fashion? Style? You're right. If I could outdress him, I could outsmart him. Oh, yes. Very well. I agree to this plan. But keep this on the down low.
So, if you want the plans, go into the vault. It's behind the Black Baron's castle. And of course, later on, we're introduced to the Black Baron. He's like, "Greetings, one and all, to the dogfight games. Now, let me remind you all, I'm still the reigning champ. But of course, we have the finest pilots from all over the world. Canada, Ecuador, Papua New Guinea, and of course the infamous Team Mugshot. And of course, we get the reveal and comeback of Mugshot. This time we're gonna poke you full of holes. And of course, things go like a cannon. And there's not really much to this mission other than, well, Mugshot, he's going to be important to the story, trust me. So I'm going to be going over certain missions, such as the mission where Penelope, Bentley, and Murray show up. And of course it's the mission at the hangar. Of course, Murray is able to beat the mischief makers from tearing apart Sly's plane. And then, of course, Mugshot comes in. He's like, "Aw, did you miss me? Can't let you go after that mess in Mesa City now, would ya?" And of course, "I'm not gonna let you jokers ruin my plans." Murray's like, "Oh yeah? You in what army?" "Army? Oh yeah. Alright boys, time to gear up and crack some skulls." Of course, we're able to take down Mugshot with his goons. And Mugshot leaves for the moment, retreating to lick his wounds. Now here's the next part of the mission. Bentley, through the comms, has to take over the traps put in place in the underground hangar. And of course, another prompt. You gotta have this be a 1-player mission or a 2-player mission. Of course, in 2-player mission, this is going to go a lot easier because, well, you have Penelope taking care of one side of the screen and Bentley taking over the other side of the screen. And it gets intense. You have to make sure you time these traps right to take out these mischief makers. And once you're done with that, the mission goes like in canon. Penelope takes out her RC helicopter, gets rid of the mischief makers, along with tanks, trying to blow up the hangar. Of course, this is the area where Bentley gets an upgrade to his hover pack. Instead of 2 jumps, he's able to perform 3 jumps. Very important for this mission. So, like in canon, everyone does their thing. Guru takes control of an animal to take out the competition. Murray does his thing by doing a boat mission and getting to the other side of a windmill to take it down. Bentley hacks into the windmills for the gang to use as weapons to take down blimps that are used to assist the Black Baron in winning these competitions. And of course, we have the most famous mission in this level, where Bentley goes to confront Mugshot and basically starts to roast him, so much to anger him to get to the plaza where Carmelita is there. And so, like in canon, that happens. And of course, the interaction goes down like usual, but like I said, Mugshot is going to be important later on. So, in the canon timeline, Sly becomes a pilot
and he gets to be in an airplane and take down the rest of the pilots. So he does that, takes down the rest of the competition to make it into the finals of this dogfight tournament. So, everything's about to go down, and again, you get another prompt. 1-player mission or 2-player mission. This time, Penelope's by your side with her custom airplane to help you out. Of course, you confront the Black Baron, take him out, and of course, tries to get in the blimps, but the blimps go down. Of course, Black Baron's like,
"Haha, you fools! Especially you, Penelope. I expected much better from you. I have a backup plan."
And so, he tries to go by the big airplane, but it is shot down. And Black Baron goes down.
No!
And well, let's just say he's not alive. And of course, we get the reveal of Mugshot in his plane.
Yes!
And Bentley's like,
What? No! How is this possible? Carmelita shot him down! Do you jokers honestly think you can take me out of the competition? Nah. Thanks to the sweet little gadget. Very useful for hags like her.
And so he throws it away. And Bentley's in shock.
Oh no! I miscalculated. I didn't think he had that.
So, the thing that Mugshot showed was a device. And it was able to harness electricity. You could see where this is going. So yeah. Instead of you facing off against the Black Baron, you face off against Mugshot. And of course, you beat Mugshot in the airplane. But now, he goes to the big airplane where the battlefield takes place. And of course, Sly and Penelope both say that there's nowhere for him to run. Mugshot laughs. And he states,
"Who's running? In fact, I got you twos right where I want ya. And I know I'm at the advantage. 'Cause I'm strong, and you two are a bunch of pipsqueaks who can't do a thing about it."
and of course, Bentley over the intercoms then begins to say,
"Sly, Penelope, you gotta watch out. You can't beat him regularly. You gotta be smart about this."
luckily, Penelope, you still got those boots?
Yeah?
What do they do? Of course, Penelope thinks, what do they do?
Oh, that's right.
When I sneak up on a guy and attack him, I do my stop move.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Yep, that's right. You're gonna use your stop move to take out Mugshot.
So, this is how the fight goes down. Mugshot tries to shoot you down with his pistols. You have to dodge him and wait for him to run out of ammo. And it is here where you can attack. And I should state that it is easier as a 2-player mission. But of course, with 1 player, when you're playing as Sly, you have to activate a bomb that Bentley gave you for this mission. Yeah. I know it seems weird, but trust me. Just to address the issue of like, well, if you play as Sly, what happens? That's what happens. Bentley has given you some bombs for you to use to damage Mugshot. So yeah. Of course, when Penelope,
she could perform that stunt move than when she was the Black Berry. And of course, this is really helpful in this fight, as it allows her to do major damage to Mugshot. And of course, this acts as a stun move, where when he's stunned, both you and Sly can attack him with the square button, and all the types of attacks you can do before Mugshot recovers. So, as the fight rages on, both Sly and Penelope are able to defeat Mugshot and knock him off the airplane. And of course, at the end of this level, it's Penelope's time to shine, as she is quote-unquote deemed champion of the dogfight games. And that Sly, he didn't care about the trophy or prize. He's just happy that Penelope's got her time to shine and show us what he's got, and that she has gone a long way throughout this journey. And of course, we get a little interaction between Bentley and Penelope. Let's just say their feelings for each other start to grow more and more. Yeah. So that wraps up the third level. We move on to the fourth level. And it is here where Sly begins explaining about Bentley coming up with plans to get into the vault, and that Bentley is having a hard time coming up with any plans at the moment, finding out who's the right person for this job, even though we have an RC specialist and a guru expert. But of course, he comes to the conclusion that we need someone with pyrotechnic skills. And who better than the Panda King? Now, of course, Sly has a problem with this because the Panda King was the one who killed his father. But of course, Bentley was firm about this. And here, in this moment, I'm going to touch upon it more through this interaction scene. Bentley, you what? You want to recruit the Panda King? I'm sorry, Sly, but this is the best option. I don't know what to tell you. And of course, Sly gets pissed, grabs Bentley by the shirt, and he slams him against the wall. You can't do that! You can't just call these shots! What if the Panda King stabs us in the back? And Bentley's like, so be it! And of course, a moment of silence happens. So what? Just because you have a problem with him? You don't think I don't know, huh? I know he killed your dad, but he is our only option. He's the only one that's got the skills we need to get into the vault and get the answers that you want. Of course, Penelope and Murray are scared. And Penelope's like, Bentley. And of course, Sly Cooper lets go of Bentley, puts him back on his chair. Bentley then states, I'm sorry, Sly. Unless we know someone better than the Panda King, he's all we got. Sly reluctantly agrees. I know. I'm sorry. He just killed my dad. I don't know how to feel about him joining us. Of course, you see Sly shedding tears a bit, but of course quickly wipes it off. the guru just watches all this happen. Penelope just gives him a pat on the back and leaves him. So yeah, after that moment, Sly begins to explain who the Panda King is and what's been going on with him. Just like in canon, the Panda King has recluded in solitude, and it's discovered that he has a daughter named Jin King, and that Jin King was kidnapped by someone named General Sao. A rooster general. Yes. Not even joking. And that he has taken over a large portion of China through his armies and magic. And of course, he forces Jin King to marry him. Of course, the Panda King tried to stop him, but he wasn't powerful enough to beat him. And that's why he's secluded to the mountains, to train and be at peace with himself. Of course, like in canon, the Cooper gang are able to meet up with the Panda King. Just like usual, nothing different. Of course, this is where Sly and Panda King begin to argue with each other. And that, really, they should try and help each other. The Panda King was furious, but he calmed down. He's like, "You are correct. We should work together, not apart. I thank you for trying to save my daughter." And of course, the Panda King meets up with the Sly Cooper gang. The Guru and the Panda King begin to get along through spiritual connection. And then we see Panda King opening up his closet with his clothes and a machine that he had been working on, a fireworks launcher, if you will. He puts it on and becomes the Panda King once more. And so, the Panda King joins you, and your mission is, of course, like in the original, things are going to go faster. We get some interesting dialogue between Sly and the Panda King. And of course, Panda King, before meeting up with Sly, is going through his own inner demons. What you could say is that he was arguing with his darker self. And that he should try and redeem himself. And that if Sly Cooper is willing to forgive him, even after everything he has done to him, that he should help him out. And that he has honor as well. And that cannot be ignored. Of course, Panda King's dark side says, "Then Cooper shall live." And so, once that's done, we get some funny dialogue like in the original. "Sly, I will not kill you this day." And he's like, thanks. Anyway, Bentley told me that there were firework caches everywhere, and that we have to deal with some, vampires. "Yes. We must go to these safes and get my firework cache, so that I could improve my firework launcher." for even more powerful techniques of my flame fu.
Of course, Bentley explains how the Panda King works, how you're able to use his fireworks. And he doesn't mention this, but when you press the square button, you can do the flaming chop. So yeah. That mission gets done, like in canon. Sly Cooper tries to make a joke. Doesn't work on the Panda King, and he says, I should go. And Panda King's like, yes, do that. Of course, another mission that should be touched upon is Murray getting captured, and that Penelope needs to save him. So, he gets her RC car and rescues Murray. Now, it should be noted here, the RC car's controls, they're going to be better than the original, because the original controls sucked. Like, sorry, a little tangent here, but the RC car shouldn't have controlled the way it did in the original game. It should have been way better. And like, the people who made this game should have looked at other racing games, or just games that have driving controls in general, and just copied that. So that way people who play this mission, myself included, wouldn't have to complain about this. Alright, end of tangent. Back to the story. So, that happens. Murray hugs Penelope. Penelope hugs back. And Penelope says,
Don't worry, Murray. I always got your back.
thanks, Penelope. And of course, we get to Murray's mission, where he sees the van. And it somehow made it all the way from Canada to China. And of course, Penelope, understanding Murray's sentiment, he's like,
Okay, Murray. I'm going to help you bring the van back.
so they do that. And of course, Penelope's worried, like, he needs to go and get out of there. But Murray's like, I am not leaving the van behind again. And so, Penelope helps out Murray try and get the van back, but of course, they're stopped by spikes. And Penelope says,
I'm sorry, Murray, but my RC plane's out of juice. I can't help you from here.
Murray's like, what do I do? I'm not going to leave her behind. Of course, we see Panda King on top of a turn. He's like, Murray, that hippo, he cares about that van as if it was family, just like how I care for my daughter. Well, if that's how it is, fear not, hippo. I shall help you. For I am the Panda King. And of course, the Panda King helps out Murray. And of course, they meet up. And Panda King's like, well done, hippo. I admire your determination. And Murray's like, thanks, Panda King. Because if you help me out, you could ride shotgun any time. I would be honored. So that mission ends. And of course, another mission to touch upon was General Sal stealing Bentley's computer, finding their hideout and stuff. And of course, we have some interactions with him and Sly. Of course, they begin to talk.
I, General Sal, am the greatest general of all time. The Sal name will not die. And when I marry Jin King, I will have all the power.
Of course, Sly replies,
She doesn't have to marry you. She's her own person.
And of course, General Sal begins to say,
She's a woman. She doesn't know up from down. Now, I need to get rid of you. But here, you can have your computer back. But it won't do you good.
so they begin fighting. General Sal using all of his powers to defeat Sly, but Sly comes out on top at the end. General Sal uses a smoke bomb and gets away. Again, things go like in canon, with the new Cooper gang taking down General Sal. Of course, Murray and Penelope doing a mission together. It goes like in canon. And Sly put on the disguise of General Sal. And of course, he gets Jin King out of there. Carmelita gives chase to where Sly's been. And of course, Sly's like, hopefully Carmelita won't get too mad at me. Carmelita is angry at first, but she realizes something. She could be Jin King, take the place of her, so that she could catch General Sal if she can't get to Sly. So, just like in canon, stuff goes down. It would have gone smooth, but I know they've gone through the development to end these missions quicker, but there's still going to be the same mistakes like in canon. Murray takes down the temple. General Sal gets pissed, summons the dragon, and takes Penelope. Of course, Sly takes on the dragon and defeats him. With that wraps up the 4th level. So, essentially, it goes like in canon. Sly is able to rescue Jin King. The Panda King and Jin King get together again. Sly, General Sal, gets duped by Carmelita and gets arrested by her. All is well in the world. But of course, this brings us to the 5th level, where a certain purple iguana is going to show up. You'll see what I mean. So in the 5th level, we go over to the pirate docks. And it is here we get a bit of backstory on Dimitri's history. That before he was an artist, he really took a liking to swimming, and that he looked up to his grandfather,
Rame Lousteau.
And his grandfather was known to be a really good scuba diver, finding treasures and all that stuff. But of course, when Dimitri was still with his family and was waiting for his grandpa to come back, he never did. As well, he was killed. And his gear was stolen by a pirate named Black Eyed Pete. And that by using all his stuff, Black Eyed Pete was able to gain massive treasure in a giant ship. And so, Dimitri always had a mission. That one day he would get back his grandfather's things. And so, this is where he's going to join up with the Cooper gang in this level.
Of course, you don't need me to tell you, there's not really much story-wise going on with the docks, except for a few parts. So, in the pirate level, Sly takes up a disguise, just like all the other levels from the original game. He takes up a disguise, looks like the part for the level. A cameraman for the China level, a Italian mobster, or I should say opera mobster, I guess, in Venice. And in this level, a pirate. Of course, you learn that Black Eyed Pete's not the real threat, as the real threat is another pirate named Lafouille, and that Black Eyed Pete lost all of his stuff in a bet to Lafouille. So yeah. And that he says that he is the smartest man of the seas. No one dared mess with him. Of course, with all that information, it goes like usual. Sly, Bentley, Murray, Penelope complete all these levels, and of course these levels lead up to getting the ship. And of course the gameplay for the ship is that while you're on the ship, you get to move around this big open map. And in this big open map is where you can go to these levels. And of course, it should be noted that you should have upgraded your stuff by now before going into this level, because once you get to these levels, you cannot rest or go to a safe house, because once you start sailing your ship, that's it. And of course, like in canon, you press the circle button to fire all your cannons at an enemy ship. And so you could like take out the enemy ship just by shooting at it, or you could hop aboard the enemy ship by ramming into it and taking out the captain and all of its pirates. And of course, depending on how well you do, you get coins. Lots of coins. So yeah, that's the thing. Of course, the important part is where Sly Cooper and the gang go to this island, and it is here where you could find the scuba diving gear. And of course, Dimitri is all up in arms. He's happy that with the help of the Cooper gang, he was able to find his grandfather's things, and he thanks them.
Ah, yes. The scuba diving gear. It is funky fresh. Thank you, Cooper gang, for this.
And of course, Penelope
He's like, it's no problem.
yeah, with this is definitely going to help. Of course, Lafouille has a problem with that. He's like,
Not so fast, mateys.
and of course, they realize that they're in trouble and that Penelope is held hostage. Of course, I know the men that Lafouille has are simply way too strong, and that they were able to subdue her for the time being. So, while she does ultimately fight back, Lafouille is very smart and figured out how to subdue her, so, there's that. Things are not looking good, but of course the gang are going to come up with a plan to get her back. So, what is this plan that
Sly and the gang have in mind to rescue Penelope? Well, just like in canon, they're going to go do the missions. For example, they're going to go get what can be described as golden shark heads that upgrades the ship's cannons, allowing them to cool down faster and deal more damage. And this is where Dimitri comes in, as we get to his level. Now, for those of you who are aware, Dimitri's levels suck. Like, they really do. The controls, everything. The two missions that Dimitri has are terrible. Like, his gameplay is not great. So, here, I'm going to fix that. In these missions, I want to create controls where you swim just fine, and that the controls are intuitive. And that you don't just fire one shot at a time. You can fire multiple shots. For the sake, I guess, balance, let's say 3 before you have to reload. With this, Dimitri can be way more useful when it comes to his missions. And it might be fun to do a water level, even though a water level in gaming has been seen in not such a great light. But anyways, he does the mission, and then we move on to the next mission, where Sly Cooper and the gang face off against the Kraken. Of course, like in canon, Guru gets captured by the Kraken, but he has a plan to control the beast. And with that, we move on to the last mission of this level. The confrontation with Lafouille. Of course, Lafouille tricks Sly Cooper into going into his old hideout out in the docks, saying that he has Penelope holed up there. Of course, this isn't true, and it was all a trap. But the Sly Cooper gang ain't gonna stop. They're gonna take down Lafouille. And so, like in canon, it happens. Of course, Lafouille messes with Bentley, trying to say that I am the smartest man of the 7 seas. You can't hope to match my intelligence. But of course, this is where Penelope says, "You leave that turtle alone. I'll face you, Lafouille." And so, again, like in canon, Penelope and Lafouille fight. And we see that Penelope is an impressive sword fighter. Yeah. But anyways, you defeat Lafouille as Penelope, and the mission ends. And of course, at this point in the story, Penelope and Bentley's relationship starts to really blossom into a full-on girlfriend-boyfriend thing. And Sly Cooper is happy for them, that they're able to connect through all these crazy adventures that they've had over the years. Of course, they have Dimitri as a member of the Cooper gang. And with that, Sly Cooper declares that he is now ready to take on the biggest heist of all time, opening the Sly Cooper Vault on Dr. M's Island. And of course, we get that impressive title shot of all the members that have been recruited up until this point. Of course, we cut over to the last level on Dr. M's Island. Like in canon, Carmelita and her elite squad infiltrate Dr. M's Island, and that she is aware that Sly Cooper is badly injured, as she saw the fight with him and the Beast. He put up a good fight, but he's down for the count at the moment. Of course,
Carmelita takes on basically Dr. M's army. And she's able to defeat her Dr. M's beast. Of course, Dr. M is furious at this, asking why is she doing this. And of course, Carmelita states that Dr. M has broken a lot of rules, a lot of laws, and that he needs to be arrested. Of course, Dr. M doesn't take this lightly, and he sucker punches Carmelita, getting away. So, like in canon, nothing much changes here. You get to play as pretty much everyone here in this last level. First up, you get to play the Guru. And basically, you have to mind control these sharks to take out the generators. Specifically, the ones that has Sly Cooper's cane on it. Of course, this falls into the water, essentially the ocean. And of course, next up is where you play Dimitri. Now, before all that, I should mention, I'm sorry I didn't, talk about the Guru much, but he wouldn't be saying much. I mean, he speaks in his own unique language. But he would probably say something at the end of the level. Penelope. Of course, Penelope replies,
Oh, thank you, Guru. That's really nice of you to say.
Bentley replies, It's okay, Guru. Like you said, we got this. With Penelope on our side, we can definitely get Sly Cooper's cane back. So yeah, for those of you who want a little interaction there. Of course, we get the interaction between Dimitri and Penelope. And it pretty much goes like this. Oh, baby, you look so beautiful and smart. And Penelope's like, come again? What I'm saying is that you need someone with muscle, with style. A real macho man. And Penelope replies,
Okay, first, get over yourself. And second, get over yourself. Thirdly,
you need to go down there and get Sly Cooper's cane back. Can you do that? Dimitri replies, Oh, so filled with fire and compassion. I will do it for the love. And he dives into the water. Of course, like in canon, Dimitri goes to that level where there's a bunch of traps waiting for him. Of course, he manages to dodge all of them, and he faces off against Dr. M and another one of his abominations, an underwater sea angler with crab claws. Of course, he beat him, but the Sly Cooper King gets away again. But of course, eventually you get the Sly Cooper cane back. And then, at this point, Sly Cooper wakes up. And he gets on his airplane, saying that he's not gonna sit back and let everyone have all the action. So, like in canon, Dr. M gets into another one of his abominations, this time a flying whale. Sly Cooper is able to beat Dr. M in this case, gets on top of the whale fly, and they begin talking to each other. And that Dr. M begins to say, Ah, Sly Cooper, you're just like your father, an ignorant fool. And Sly Cooper's like, What do you mean? The Sly Cooper family has always been honorable.
And of course, Dr. M's like, honorable, more like arrogant. You don't care about your little gang. Of course I do. Why would you think that? We're a part of a team, and a team sticks together. And of course, Dr. M replies, then why is it called the Cooper Gang? Shouldn't it be more, how do I say this, more sensible? And of course, Sly Cooper gets mad and he knocks off Dr. M from the whale fly. So, and of course, we get to Penelope's mission, where, again, her controls are way better when it comes to the RC car. Of course, this is all to get Sly Cooper's gang back, and also to set up getting the Cooper van with her, Murray, Bentley, and Sly to get up there. Of course, she tells the Panda King to set up the explosives so that they're able to get up there. And of course, the Panda King does that. And of course, he exclaims, ah, yes, this is my most glorious fireworks. Fear not, Cooper Gang. I will launch you. And so he does. So, Sly and the gang, they get into the Cooper vault. And here is where Sly begins to say, man, I can't believe we made it. I gotta say, guys, thank you. Thank you so much for helping me out. Of course, Bentley and Murray and Penelope each say that it was no problem and that they would do anything for their friend. And that it's all his. It's his time now. Of course, Sly begins to leave. And here, Murray, Bentley, and Penelope stay behind, making sure that no one gets in to try and disturb Sly. Of course, they begin talking to each other. And Bentley begins to say, Murray, over the intercoms, do you really think that Sly just thinks of us as sidekicks? Of course, Murray says, no way! Sly's like our best friend. He's like our brother. He would never leave us in the dark. And Penelope begins to reply, yeah, Bentley. He's always had our backs. I should know. I watched all three of you. And to make sure that we stuck together no matter what. And Bentley says, yeah, I guess you're right. But what if Dr. M has a point? I mean, sure, we've done all these things together, but what does Sly really think of us? I mean, I know I shouldn't be thinking about this, but Bentley is interrupted as Dr. M's minions begin attacking. Of course, Maury warns them, and all three of them begin to fight. They're able to defend off against Dr. M's minions. And of course, at some point, Dr. M shows up to confront all three of them. And of course, Dr. M starts beginning to spout nonsense about how Sly would abandon him the first chance he gets, and that he is just like his father, unless an honorless thief, and that it is better to be at the top, so that no one can betray you. And he believes that friendship is a weakness that must be eliminated. Of course, Dr. M starts to say, Bentley, You would come to your senses. Why not join me? I would never abandon you.
And Bentley begins to reply, "No way. I'm not going to leave Sly behind. He's a friend. He would never abandon us." And of course, Dr. M began to say,
Why would you think that?
"What makes you come to that conclusion?"
Brotherhood. Brotherhood? Ah, you're still spouting that garbage. Ah, well. If you will not join me, I shall destroy all three of you.
And of course, Murray begins to wrestle with Dr. M. And here is where Penelope, Bentley come up with a plan. Of course, again, in this mission, you can have this be 1 player or 2 player. So, you and Penelope would focus on putting on a Sly Cooper gem thing on Dr. M's back and activate the beacons so that you're able to shock Dr. M. And of course, you shock him enough times, he begins to leave. And Bentley, Murray, and Penelope say that they gotta get out of here because the cave is about to crumble. Of course, we transition to Sly's level. Of course, it goes about the same as in canon. With Sly telling us about the history of the Sly Cooper ancestors, and of course we get to his last, I guess, ancestor, although it's not his ancestor, it's just his dad. And his father left him one last move, the laser slide. So, in this game only, Sly Cooper has the ability to slide on lasers. It's a interesting ability, and I wish it got used more, but oh well. Of course, Sly and Dr. M begin to face off in their final battle, and it's an intense one, just like in the original. Of course, Sly Cooper is able to beat Dr. M, or is about to. That is until Carmelita shows up. And she begins to say that both of them are under arrest. And he's like,
You! Damn Inspector! You've gotten in my way the last time. Hold on, Sly. Before I get rid of you, I must get rid of her.
And of course, Sly responds,
Not her!
and Sly jumps in front of Carmelita, taking on the blast of Dr. M. Of course, Carmelita is shocked by this, but she is angry. And so, just like in the original, she takes down Dr. M. And of course, Carmelita begins to check up on Sly, and Sly begins to say, who am I? Where am I? And Carmelita, she was about to tell the truth, but she begins to lie to him. And she's like, you are at Dr. M's Island, and your name is Constable Cooper. And you're my partner. And Sly's like, oh, and I'm your partner, alright? And what's your name? She begins to reply, Carmelita Montoya Fox. Of course, with that out of the way, both of them escape as the Cooper Vault begins crumbling down on Dr. M. Of course, the narration is done by Bentley here. And of course, just like in the original, they're worried about Sly and seeing if he made it out alright. And of course, they see his cane, his pack, and a note saying that he's doing alright and that he's glad to have this journey with all his friends.
And so, they begin to realize that Sly might be done for good. But with that being said, it's not all bad, as just like in canon, the rest of the Cooper gang start going off and doing their own things, such as Dimitri becoming a swim instructor and going on different tours, the guru trying to spread his teachings to others, and getting unwanted attention from the media due to his students being famous guitarists. Yeah. And the Panda King enjoying life like normal, alongside with his daughter, Jane King. And he wards off any suitors trying to marry Jane King, until he finds a certain someone to be worthy of marrying his daughter. Of course, Murray starts going after his lifelong dream of entering derby races, and he becomes the grand champion. Bentley and Penelope are full-on dating, and with that, they start beginning to work on so many inventions together, and they created their own vault, so to speak. More specifically, the Cooper Gang Vault, with all of Sly Cooper's secrets and the Thievius Raccoonus. Of course, at the ending of this game, Bentley then begins to drop a bombshell, as he says, "It might be over for our adventures, but there is one thing you need to know, and a big project I'm working on. I'm gonna build a time machine." Of course, we get that scene at the end with Bentley checking up on Sly, thinking that he full-on has amnesia, or thinking that he's dead. Sly Cooper looks back, and he winks. And of course Bentley says, "You sneaky devil." And that is where part 3 ends. So, I hope you guys liked this video. And man, I gotta tell you, I really like this one. Because of all the things that happened, and all the different interactions that have happened in the course of this video, I'm really proud of them. I hope you guys really like this series, and just as much as I liked it. Anyways, with that being said, this is Hydro King signing out.